Good morning, sir.
Hello?
You're Kirk Edwin Jensen?
Yep.
Yes. You got a ticket for no valid operator's license, no license in possession, and I don't think you can actually be convicted of both of those. It's either or, and no proof of insurance. Mr. Marvin said he spoke with you. You don't wish to enter a plea of guilty, which is your right, but you don't wish me to appoint an attorney.
We're barely 5 seconds in, and it's already off the rails. A man walks into Michigan traffic court for a no-license charge, and somehow it escalates into a full-blown spiritual war against the Crown Corporation. Sir, this isn't Lord of the Rings, it's traffic court.
Or have it's either that or a jury trial, is that what you're saying?
Yes. You have a right to have well, let me ask you this. You don't want me to appoint an attorney. Do you wish to hire one?
No, I really don't even want to contract with the Crown Corporation here. This has really turned into a religious persecution issue because, and I'm sure you can see, I canceled that driver's license 13 years ago because I didn't want to have that contract any longer. And I wanted to get out of that system and be completely separate. So I went with a different government altogether, with a different issuing authority. And I have documentation in the form of an international driving permit, which Mr. Marvin acknowledged he is aware of because he said he used to have one. So he knows about them, and that's what I had when I presented it to the officer. For whatever reason, the officer thinks it's not valid or that it's fraudulent, and that is his choice to decide that. But the charge of not having any driver's license on me is not true because I did have it on me.
Do you have it with you today?
No, he has it.
Who has it?
The Officer Brooks, who took it from me. I have an international driving permit and a passport that was issued by a different governing authority than the United States. And for whatever reason, they're choosing not to acknowledge it.
Guy just claimed he chose a different government, then handed over an international driving permit like he was hopping dimensions, not driving in Michigan. And the wildest part, he's dead serious. You can practically hear the judge trying not to choke on the sheer absurdity of it all.
But it already has been...
Well, that's an interesting defense. Now, we've been struggling with international driver's licenses. And for one issue, you have to be in the country legally. So we've got a number of Mexican people that have Mexican driver's license from Michoacan or Jalisco or one of the Mexican states. But if they're not here legally, it doesn't matter. You're obviously here legally. You were born a citizen. You may have.
I have changed my nationality is what I've done.
Where's your passport from?
It's issued by the government of the United States of America. It's not a blue passport. It's a different colored passport than that. Mr. Marvin says that there's no such thing as that, and that's fine if he wants to choose to do that. But I have had no issue. I have had no issue from anyone or anything using that. Granted, I have not gone to the country with that yet. I have not had the means to do so.
Yeah, good luck.
But
good luck trying to get back in. My advice is don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be a man with no country. So don't leave the country, but you're here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, according to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, I have a right to change my nationality, and the Crown Corporation here is trying to deny me that nationality, which really falls under a religious persecution issue here, because I don't want to have any more dealings with the Crown Corporation. And so
Judge genuinely tried to meet him halfway, even acknowledging the confusion around international licenses, but the moment this guy pulled out a "my passport isn't blue" card, it was game over. It became crystal clear. This man is living on a sovereign island of delusion, running a one-man government with no borders, no rules. and definitely no legal standing.
Crown Corporation. This is the state of Michigan. And in the state of Michigan, you have to have a driver's license. You may have one. Your operator's license, you're right, is canceled. I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
I cut it up and I sent it back to the Secretary of State 13 years ago. I did not want to have that contract any longer.
Well, you got convicted in Niles in 2019 of no ops. You failed to appear. I defaulted you, I guess. But yeah, they've got your old driver's license picture in here. But yeah, you don't want to have a bad driving record. There's no speeding, seatbelt.
I'm not a bad guy. I just want to get around
here
differently.
You were here on May 11th.
Mm-hmm, correct.
And you wanted the complaint dismissed. You told me that you had an license canceled and lien. So I set up for the pretrial, which is what we just did. All right. Now I got a concern that the officer has your license.
Yeah, he still has it. He doesn't. I don't know why he hasn't given it back to me yet.
Well, I can't.
This moment hits different because it's not anger you hear from the judge, it's disappointment. He doesn't see a criminal in front of him, just someone who's spiraled deep into the YouTube rabbit hole, convinced by fantasy over fact. And honestly, that kind of misinformation is scarier than defiance because it disguises itself as truth.
All right. So Mr. Marvin says we haven't reached a settlement. You believe you have a defense. You don't want to have an attorney. So the question becomes, we set it for a trial. And do we set it for a trial in front of the judge, or do you wish to have a jury come in and hear this?
I want to just plain have it settled, and whether it's with him and you.
Well, I don't have the authority to settle it. He does.
Mm-hmm.
I can set it for what's called a last pretrial before jury trial. And I will get your international. This may be more of a legal issue than a factual issue. Mm-hmm. You were driving in the state of Michigan, and you don't have a Michigan driver's license.
Oh, the other.
But you may have a valid international license. I don't know.
Right.
There's no. Now the prosecutor has the police report. I don't.
The other thing that I failed to mention was that I was also under contract while I was driving that. I was under a legal contract. And obviously that contract was impaired while I was trying to fulfill the obligations of that contract.
That's alternate universe stuff. There's no contract. The issue is,
I mean the owner of the vehicle, I had a contract with the owner of the vehicle. I was under contract to perform some services for the owner of the vehicle.
Oh, okay. So, all right. That may be so.
Right.
But then you may need a CDL to do that.
Your Honor,
Yes?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked at that statute in years, but doesn't an international license have to have a prerequisite of a valid license from some place before you can apply for that international license?
And I had a national one too as well.
So I don't know.
I believe that's the prerequisite, but I don't know.
All right. Well,
I
it
could
may
be
be,
wrong.
but we.
Interview on. Here it comes, the infamous contract theory. According to him, he was driving under a private legal contract, as if that somehow exempts him from state law. This isn't Uber. It's not Amazon Flex. It's a legal fantasy novel he's writing in real time, page by page, while the judge is stuck reading along like it's required courtroom fiction.
He's got a theory that may have no basis or may have some basis. We have recently had a man from India who tried to do everything right.
Right, I remember him.
And it's so cumbersome and difficult. And he was living here. He had a driver's license from India. He got an international driver's license. Or he had a New York license, and somewhere he forgot to dot an I or cross a T. All right, I'm going to set this for a last pretrial, but I need.
And what does that mean?
It means we're going to take one more effort at resolving this thing, but I need to see your evidence.
Okay. Well, I can tell you the Officer Brooks, he's the one that has it.
All right. When you were here at your arraignment in May, you were very polite and respectful, and we don't agree on things, but let's take a closer look before I jump to any conclusions.
And I'll have a lot more evidence at that time. Yeah.
And if it can be resolved, great. If it can't be, the question at that point will be, do we have a jury trial or do we have a bench trial? And one of the things about people like you that want to check out of our government and our system, they don't mind bringing in 30 of their fellow citizens to come in and hear their thing. The irony is, if I sent you a jury notice, you wouldn't show up. You would say, I don't contract with you and I won't participate in your system. But you don't have any compunction about dragging 30 other people.
Is where the judge gets spicy. He calls out the sovereign playbook, how they'll dodge jury duty, but then demand a jury of 34 their imaginary defense. The irony, chef's kiss. It's peak courtroom absurdity, and the judge isn't afraid to drag it into the daylight.
So at this point, we haven't gotten that far.
Can we just decide that in 2 weeks?
Yes,
Okay.
certainly. So let's see. I want to get those documents from the sheriff's department and take a look at them.
Okay.
There may need to be some legal research done as well.
Mhm.
But you're putting the burden on them, which is how it sort of works.
Yeah.
They have the burden of proving it beyond a reasonable doubt. So you raise this defense and say, prove it's not right. Well, that isn't exactly how it works. You've got to show there's some merit to the defense. Key West used to offer passports to the Conch Republic. There was a little place there, and you could get a Conch Republic passport, and it looked like a real passport. And they shut them down. People were using them in other countries to show they had a Conch Republic quasi-American passport.
Mhm.
So there's all kinds of screwy passports out there.
And I understand that there's nefarious people who want to do things for nefarious purposes, and that's not me. I don't want to do anything for nefarious or evil purposes. I'm trying to be upright and righteous here in what I'm doing, and I'm just simply wanting to be separate according to my religious beliefs, and that's all this really boils down to.
All right. Well, one option is don't drive a car. If you don't want to participate in it and you want to opt out of our system, don't drive. Have somebody else drive you or stay in one place. But if you want to use our public roadways and share the road with other people that are licensed, you can't just decide I live in an alternate universe and I don't have to obey the same rules that everybody.
Final punchline. If you don't want to participate in the system, don't drive. Simple, clear, real. The judge isn't angry. He's exhausted. This isn't a battle over rights, it's a plea for basic cooperation in the world we all have to share.